Now, we all just saw Vergil Ortiz go out there and stop Thomas Delorme in the first round. But let's be perfectly honest with each other. We basically knew what the outcome was going to be. I don't think anybody predicted it was going to be like that. I don't think anybody, even for the most part, necessarily wanted the first round knockout. Vergil Ortiz didn't want it. I'm sure his trainer didn't want it. I'm sure overall there were a lot of people that didn't want it. For the simple fact that Vergil Ortiz needed to get some rounds in, man. I know he wanted it. I know a lot of us wanted it. I wanted it. I wanted to see what the guy's going to look like. I want to see him get some rounds in. I want to see him out there and working his craft and doing things. I mean, the man is a very good fighter. But we just haven't seen enough of him recently, and particularly at 154 pounds. That was his second one, and now he's going to be stepping into his third fight against a guy who's an absolute beast in Tszyu. Right? An absolute beast in Tszyu. Awesome fight. Really looking forward to it. I think this is one of those fights that, I don't know, for a part of me feels like it could be flying under the radar a little bit, right? 154 pounds we've been talking about so much, right? For the longest time, we were talking about how we wanted to see Tszyu fight Charlo. And then all of a sudden, we see Charlo end up getting the Canelo fight. We think we make the speculation on whether or not we'll ever see him at 154 pounds again. We get Spence and Crawford. We got Crawford moving up to 154 pounds. Now we got Spence talking about fighting Fedor. So we got all of these things going on. Because Tszyu lost to Fedor, all of a sudden everything changed from what we were speculating. Because the vast majority of us expected Tszyu to win that fight for obvious reasons. Then all of a sudden he goes out there, and all credit to Fedor. I mean, he won the fight, right? He did exactly what he had to do with the moments that he had to do it. But I can't help but feel that the better fighter, really truly the better fighter, if they go out there and they fought 100 times, or if they fought equal competition and looked at the results, I think Tszyu is the better fighter. But the reason you fight the fights is to see what happens. He ends up catching the nasty cut. Things work out the way that they do. And all of a sudden, we're looking at things how we're looking at them. And I feel like because of that, we're seeing Tszyu fly under the radar. You mix that with the fact that Vergil Ortiz has not been an active fighter. Boom, lo and behold, this one's on the undercard instead of what in other circumstances could very easily be a main event. Man, because I think this is like a can't miss fight when you think about it. I mean, it's 50-50 in a lot of ways. I'm sure there's people who are going to lean one way or the other for different reasons. But when you look at this fight, man, I mean, you got two young dudes here who are basically both in their primes, and they are coming out here. They're going to throw down. You got Tszyu with this thudding, educated jab that he uses to gauge the distance and to set up the right hand. Right? You've got Vergil Ortiz with like a shotgun jab in a lot of ways. I mean, this thing's got power, but it's fast and it's crisp, and he uses it far more. You've got Tszyu, who's, I don't want to necessarily call him a sniper, but he's got a lot of sniper-like qualities. You think about the accuracy, you think about his shot selection, you think about the power that he puts behind his shots, the precision, the timing. Those are all things that you would think about as sniper-like qualities. Then you turn around and you flip that, and you got Ortiz, who's got a much higher work rate. Punches beautifully in combination. Very fluid puncher. Has all the punches available to him so he can use what he wants. You've got both men. Neither one of these dudes are moving around defensively like Pernell Whitaker, but yet both of them have good defense. But they're different, right? In the way that they use their upper body movement a little bit, in the way that they use their feet. But they've got a lot of different things available to them, right? Like, both of them got power. Both men are going to have to respect the other one and be kept honest in what it is they do, because what's coming back at them could be a brick. So awesome in all those regards, man. This is going to be a good fight. All right. Really looking forward to this one. Right. The things that I want to see, honestly, the things that I want to see are the questions that I have are more really on Ortiz's side. Okay. Because I want to see how he's going to handle the power of Tszyu. I want to see how he's going to handle the counter-punching to Tszyu, right? Particularly with that right hand. Because when I look back at him, it's really that Kovalevskis fight. Probably mispronouncing the guy's name, but that's really the fight that I think about when I look at this one, because honestly, I think of dude as probably the most skilled fighter that Ortiz has faced. That was probably his most difficult fight, at least on paper. And when you look at it, he was getting caught with the right hand. He was getting caught with counter-punches. Dude, Tszyu's got an awesome right hand. Tszyu has awesome timing. Tszyu has very good counter-punching. Right? Look at what he was doing against Fedor before he got that cut in the first and second round. Okay? That right hand is money. And he's got power behind it. Look at what he was doing to Tony Harrison. I mean, Tszyu, I think, has fought better competition. I think Tszyu's been able to go out there and work his game plan successfully against more higher-level guys than what we've seen Ortiz do. Now, that doesn't mean that Vergil Ortiz can't come in there and win. The dude's a monster. He's got every tool that you would want. He will go out there and he knows how to execute. I like Robert Garcia, who's been around forever, I can't remember if he was a former world title holder himself at lightweight or if he just challenged for the title, but the dude's been around. We saw what he did with Mikey Garcia. So it's like he's been around, very experienced corner, doing well in that regard. Man, it's going to be interesting to see what both of these guys do. It's going to be interesting to see how both of them adapt, the game plans that they come with, when they have to make mid-fight adjustments for how all this goes down. I mean, look at the way when Ortiz was fighting Kavaleskis and he ended up getting rocked early, right? All of a sudden, he had to change it up a little bit, and he couldn't be quite so aggressive, right? He would shoot 1 or 2 punches, maybe 3 punches, and then he'd back out right away. He didn't want to stay in there and potentially get caught with those counters because the counters were coming quick and they were coming powerful. So when you think about that, that was at 147. Now we're talking about Tszyu, who's a bigger puncher up at 154. How is he going to be able to do that? Is it going to affect his aggression? Is it going to affect how much he's on the front foot? What's Tszyu going to do about that jab? I mean, on the one hand, I want to look and say, Tszyu has successfully defeated jabs before. He successfully worked his way around them. He knows how to use a pull counter with the right hand. He knows how to edge his way in. He knows how to use his footwork. But at the same time, has he fought a guy with a jab that's as good as Vergil Ortiz, as quick, as powerful? Is he a guy who has as much work rate and can punch as well in combination? So, these are all things that we're gonna be able to see on August 3rd, man. And if I really had to throw in the one wild card, dude, I can't believe I haven't heard anybody talk about that cut. The cut was so nasty, and this dude's gonna be fighting 4 months later, right? He's March 30th on this card with Fundora, gets the nasty cut from the elbow, and all of a sudden we're looking at an August 3rd card. What did he do that we can be 100% confident that thing's not going to get reopened? Did he get in there and get an A1 plastic surgeon to get this going? Because, I mean, usually I would think they would have to put 2 layers of stitches in there or whatever it is they do. I don't know, man. I'm not a plastic surgeon. I'm not the guy that knows all of the details. But I thought that once I saw that cut, that we would be looking at it at least 6 months. Maybe more, based off the simple fact that you're going to have to wait for the cut to heal enough to even be able to begin your sparring. Right? That's the thing. It's not just about whether or not the cut's going to be healed by fight night. It's going to be whether or not it's healed up enough for you to be able to have a proper training camp and then be ready on fight night. So, man, Tszyu must be a fast healer. They must have a really good surgeon over there. I still feel like, I can't help but feel like they're pushing the envelope, but they probably just want to be on the card, remain active, get their names out there, have this huge fight. So I'm all for it, man. This is going to be an awesome one. Who do you guys think has the advantage in this one? How do you think it's going to play out? And what about all the little intricacies of each game plan? What are we going to see on fight night? Let me know what you guys think.